probably the biggest reason why the U.S. Army has no money right now. But I really don't, Major General Wickman, when I had the opportunity to work with him here in the state of Minnesota, both when he was the Chief of Staff as well as the General Officer in the 34th Infantry Division, where he first served as the Assistant Division Commander and then later as the Commanding General. I think all of us that know Major General Wickman know that he leads with energy. I was talking about that a little bit earlier. He's definitely got some energy. But equally important is technical proficiency and really his overwhelming drive to succeed. Not only pushing himself, but pushing those around him, and pushing everyone to try to raise the bar just a little bit higher. From the warfighters he's participated in, to leading the division through the COVID pandemic, civil unrest surrounding George Floyd, oversight and mentorship during the first National Training Center rotation that were halted because of the pandemic, with first of the 3-4. Major General Wickman led our soldiers and also airmen through some demanding times. And through all of it, the 34th Infantry Division Red Bulls have continued to deliver outstanding results. As a Minnesota National Guard soldier, I could not be more proud of the legacy our soldiers have made. And many of these legacies are due to the outstanding leadership of Major General Wickman. I don't know how many times I've heard the former Chief of Staff of the Army, General Wickman, talk about the Red Bulls in front of large Army audiences, at senior leader conferences, in front of Congress, at the Association of United States Army National Conference, and I think he was equally proud of the Red Bull soldiers as he should be. The fact that when they mobilized during the George Floyd crisis, Red Bulls responded and helped install calm in the Twin Cities with professionalism, dignity, and compassion. Later when released, first of the 34th ADCT had repacked their equipment and soon deployed to the National Training Center to conduct the first rotation post-COVID. We really weren't quite post-COVID there, but we were the first rotation since they had been halted. And like any good story goes, there's obviously a little bit of embellishment in the story that the Chief of Staff of the Army talks about. So allegedly, there was a commander of one of our units, and his grocery store burned to the ground during the civil unrest. But despite this hardship, that commander deployed with his unit to lead them through the National Training Center rotation. And, many of us soon determined that it was probably better to let the legend live on than try and correct the Chief of Staff of the Army. But I think many of us heard that story multiple times. And it's very humbling to sit there and hear the story. While there's a little bit of embellishment there, I think it's a testament to what our soldiers go through year in, year out, and really the great leaders that we have within the division, within the state of Minnesota, that are an inspiration for those soldiers to get them through these hard times. So as I was preparing for today, I asked a few people about their experience with Major General Wickman. And I'm only going to give you stuff, right? But, I think many of us understand the high energy that General Wickman brings, the enthusiasm, the blunt and brutally honest feedback that he's given each and every one of us. The fact that he's willing to take time to see how people are doing in a sincere way. And not just his friends and his peers, but also down to the lowest soldier, to truly see how they're doing and sense what's going on in the organization. He's committed to the Minnesota National Guard, to the Army, and to our nation. And it wasn't uncommon for me to see him when I'd stop by the office, just to pick something up maybe after hours or in the morning early to see General Wickman in there doing something. Bottom line, he's clearly a professional with character, competence, and a commitment. And while Major General Wickman has been extremely successful in his career, I'd also like to take just a minute to thank his family that have stood by him today for the past 35 years. So Mother Nancy, thank you for raising such a fine young son. I hope you are as proud of him as we are. We sincerely appreciate the foundation you provided him that molded him into the tremendous leader that he is Beth, Rick, and Matt, I'm sorry. I know you have been the heavy lifters when your brother was all gallivanting around the world, so thank you for everything you've done to allow him to continue to serve as long as he's been able to serve. I know he has a passion for it and truly enjoyed his opportunity to serve the United States Army and Minnesota National Guard. And finally, on behalf of the nearly 13,000 citizen soldiers and airmen, Major General Wickman, thank you for your extraordinary service to our state and our nation. You are a true professional example for all of us in Emily, demonstrating selfless leadership in all that you do. The impact you have left on the Minnesota National Guard, the state of Minnesota, and our nation will endure. You can be assured of that. Your legacy will be carried on by the soldiers and airmen you have touched throughout your long and rich military career. Congratulations on retirement.
Major General Wickman, please report to Major General Wickman. Attention to orders. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress, July 9, 1918, has awarded the Distinguished Service Medal to Major General Michael P. Wickman, United States Army, Europe, and Africa, for exceptionally meritorious service to the government and the duty of great responsibility from 25 March 2022 to 19 July 2024 as the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa. During his tenure, he was directly responsible for all of the staff's coordination across the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa, to include the Allied Land Command. Major General Wickman exhibited exceptional leadership and strategic foresight, significantly enhancing the integration and utilization of the Army National Guard with the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa's exercises, missions, and operations. Under General Wickman's leadership, the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa maintained a relevant and ready headquarters and staff. His devotion to the soldiers, families, and civilians of the U.S. Army, Europe, and Africa, the U.S. Army, and the nation is in keeping with the finest traditions of military service. His distinctive accomplishments bring great credit upon him, the U.S. Army, and the Department of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Major General Wickman is now presented the certificate of retirement, recognizing his 30-plus year military career. And now, Major General Manning will now present Major General Wickman with his retirement flag in recognition of his faithful years of service to the state of Minnesota and to the people of the United States. The flag, U.S. of America, the United States of America, is the highest symbol of our country. The colors, when presented to an individual, are folded into a triangle. This triangle is symbolic of the hat worn by General George Washington and the men who served under him in the Continental Army, and who fought to obtain the rights, freedoms, and privileges that we all enjoy today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major General Michael Wickman.
So, as this is being live, I really can't editorialize, I really can't defend myself, but my lawyer's here, so we'll fight through this. Yes, I did spend a lot of money over in user apps, so that's true. That's undoubtedly going to be the legacy, I'm sure, really for a while. Lieutenant General, senior leaders, faculty, friends, thank you very much for taking a few minutes of your time today and spending this with me. I found out, apparently I'm doing it wrong, but I found out it's harder getting out of the Army than getting into the Army. And so I just wanted to thank a few people. Captain Heemstra, Chief Podratz, First Class Poe, thanks for your patience, your diligence, hard work. It's true, it really is truly appreciated, because obviously things are more complicated than I thought. Hey, so today, putting things together, Major Wickman, thank you very much. Captain Raji, again, always great to see you, thank you. Staff Sergeant McCall, Sergeant First Class Good, and Master Sergeant Donner. I really appreciate the time you took today to help put this together. So, no speeches. This is really, I will spend a lot of time. Some of my partners and fan of succinctness, but really this is actually all about you. It's kind of the last opportunity that I figure I have to share my appreciation for all of your love, support, mentorship, because I wouldn't be here without you, and I mean that sincerely. So, to the family, in the years that have gone by, it's become continually more and more obvious the amount of support that you provide, and I really do heartfelt appreciate all the things that you've done. Too many things that probably surpassed me, but I do recognize all the hard work and effort, because honestly, this would have been too difficult to do. So, Beth, Rick, and thank you so much. Anderson, thanks for adopting me. I really do appreciate it. I mean, you guys always been there, great support team, and it's always good to have you guys around. Tony, thanks. Sincerely appreciate it. One of the new members of the family, but always going to step up. I benefited from having some really great close friends that, not blood, but they're brothers. And so, Brett, Matt, Greg, really do appreciate everything that you've done. You've always been there. Unfortunately, to some of the challenges that we've all experienced, I haven't. And so, some of those regrets that kind of follow in a career in the military. Also want to acknowledge Jan Benson and Sherry Benson. A lot of years providing support as well. So thank you very much to all of you. Friends and comrades, a pretty big group. I've mentioned it before, but again, you've shaped the career that I have. You are great partners. The battlefield deployments, it doesn't go unnoticed. Truth be told, what you did for me, and I truly appreciate it, is you honestly made my life easier, whether it was kind of personal or professional. So, Harold, Tom, Jim, that couldn't be here today, Mark and Steve, Don, on the administrative side, I really appreciate all the insights. I really do. Tim, Mark, appreciate it. You've always been there for me. Joe, Simon, John, you're great comrades. Sandy, appreciate all the backup you've given. Very good conversation. I really appreciate that. Charles, yeah, lots of good, right? Shem, Butch, Wayne. Shelley, you couldn't be here, but I'm thinking about you. Look, I said it in the previous instance, and it continues to resonate with me. And so, look, I thank you all sincerely for making me a better officer, a better leader, honestly, a better person. So, I continue to live up to that which you provided me to achieve those goals. Last week we talked about it. Well, to say the least, things change fast. Thank you to Lieutenant General Jensen for volunteering me for a wonderful job. But it really it's been impactful, both professionally and personally. Long, endless days, but I couldn't have done it without the teamwork of the United States Army Group in Africa, Chief of Staff's office. I benefited from and leaned on a fantastic team. Okay, so I have to acknowledge them. Far away, in a different time, different location, carrying distance, but fantastic team. It's Mark Rado, Jay Haley, of course, Lansma, Liontown, Steve Blackford, Sandy Lucas. And so, my sincere thanks to you. I'll back out in Europe. Heartfelt, truly appreciate it. Could not have done this job without you. United States Army Group and Africa team experienced significant challenges in the past couple of years, and I was so impressed by their ability to just grab that thing and run with something so complicated. There's some of you here in the audience that knows, even at the far end of this, like how complicated this situation was as we worked through the invasion of Ukraine. And so, great leadership is, starts with that. So I've got to acknowledge General Williams, General Colby, John Donahue as a fantastic team. I'll also really want to mention two other general officers, General Bowling, General Andrews, provided me with some additional mentorship, kind of rolling into a kind of a unique situation that, in my past experiences was a lot of preparation for, and I thank them sincerely because of what they provided me to allow me to be successful in that job. Also wanted to share my appreciation for the partnership and allies that I had the opportunity to work with. It's a distinct honor and privilege to work with these great partners. Obviously not limited to, but spending a lot of time in Croatia, Norway, Poland, Greece, and in my last year, spending a lot of time in Ireland. And so it was an honor, certainly, but it was an honor and a privilege. And so, again, I want to best out to Generals Yokes and McGinnis, Adam and Brendan, thanks a lot. You were great partners. I would not have been prepared for this assignment if it were not for the mentorship and trust of a number of senior leaders. And so I just want to set aside General Bruno, General Garrett, General Brunson, providing me with some great leadership and added a little extra educational insights that prepared me for this job. But that said, we talked about it before. Kind of for me, it always goes back to the red list. And this is now it has been, probably starting about 10 years ago, become a peerless organization. It's an elite division, okay? And I don't say that because I wear it on my right shoulder. I don't say that because they're from the great state of Minnesota. I say that because it's data. It's simply the metrics that are required to be successful. The 34th has always achieved those metrics. They literally stand alone amongst their peers in both in active duty and reserve. So you routinely see them at the top of the list. And as the USRAF chief of staff, I found myself in meetings that routinely demonstrate through this information where the 34th Minnesota stood. And they have a reputation that is quite, well, impossible to match, right? And so, it's representative of you all. And so, but I need to take a few minutes just to, thank two senior leaders that are here. One that's not, but we'll talk about that anyway. Today had a direct impact on my growth as a leader. I owe a significant debt of gratitude to Generals Kurska, Boydalt, and Jensen. The mentorship that they provided undoubtedly allowed me to succeed in this last and most challenging position. And so, the original assignment was not the same thing that I had been doing, much more complicated, and I really don't think I would have been successful if it weren't for you all and the mentorship and the leadership that you provided to me. And so, my sincere thanks for allowing me to get out of there with just a little bit of therapy. But I also want to just recognize that it was about 10 years ago that the division, a great division, became a elite division, and it was as a result of these general officers that took us to this next level, took us to a place where, as heard from General Lincoln, we are routinely recognized. And so, I sincerely thank you all for your leadership, your mentorship, and your sacrifice. Lastly, I do feel the need to kind of recognize the memoriam for important people to me. they're no longer with us. So my father, Robert Wickman, father-ish, Floyd Anderson, Dave Benson, and most recently, Jake Ellis. These are 4 people that mean a lot to me, meant a lot to me. And I'm saddened to be able to put them in this memorial, but I didn't want to recognize them because they all had a great deal of impact on me as well. And wanted to recognize the passing and sacrifice. Jake in particular, a great young man whose life is going to change. So I think about them every day, and we should miss them collectively. The last thing I'll share with you here, and it's something that has just is a bit of a tradition for me. Joe remembers, I'm sure, but my grandfather Marty, even though he didn't realize it, passed on an appreciation for poetry to me. Probably because whenever we went to visit the grandparents, I always ended up in a room that was obviously wall-to-wall poetry and other things, and so it sticks on me. But in the spirit of succinctness, I'll just haiku. Summer grass, the only remains of great warriors' dreams. In the past, going on. Thank you.
Major General Michael Wickman, thank you for your service and congratulations, sir, on your retirement. You've already risen, so thank you for having me. Gentlemen, please put up the benediction.
Friends, receive this benediction. As you prepare to depart, the grace and mercy be unto you from God the Almighty and eternal Creator, as you go in peace. Amen.
All, thank you for attending and showing your support for Major General Wickman's successful career. This will conclude the ceremony. Refreshments and cake are served immediately following today's ceremony. You're required to take at least one piece, whether you want to or not. And please come congratulate General Wickman on his retirement. Please just form a line to my left or right, or meet him down below, or just shake